So good evening, everyone, and welcome to Somerset County Library's Personal Enrichment Series online. Tonight we are going to be starting a series of applied digital skills series using Google. And what the Applied Digital Skills series does is gives us a fun way to introduce you to some of the Google apps that you may not even know that you have access to. If you have a Google email account, you have access to these apps, and we will show you how to access them and then give you some fun ways to play with the apps to learn how to use them. And this month, what we wanted to do was create an if-then story. So an if-then story is one where the reader becomes the main character. So the reader will be reading a story and comes to a section of the story where they have to make a decision. They can either choose option A or option B, and depending on what option they choose, the story will go off in a different direction. So we'll be learning how to do that, and we'll be using Google Docs and Google Slides to create these stories. And we thought it would be a fun thing to do to create some stories that we could share with our kids, because we can't do the normal stroll and read that we usually do around Halloween. We thought it might be fun to create some stories that we could share with our kids online. So keep that in mind as you're brainstorming your stories. And okay, I'm going to have to change my screen here. So just give me a moment. Oops. Wrong screen. Okay, I want to share. So I do want to share my desktop. Okay, so in order to sign into, we've developed a Applied Digital Skills classroom. And you can access this classroom at any time, so you can work on it at your own pace. And we're going to be adding more lessons to the classroom as time goes on, so you feel free to check back. There may be other classes that you might be interested in, other lessons that you might be interested in that would be more to your liking. You are going to go to Applied Digital Skills. So you're going to go to applieddigitalskills.withgoogle.com, and you're going to sign in. Okay, and I already have my account set up, so I'm set up as the teacher in this classroom. But when you sign in, you will be given the option to join a class. And when you click on join a class, you'll be asked to enter the teacher code, or you'll be asked to enter the class code. And that class code is going to be 8GQS3F. and you can find that on our Facebook page as well. And we have some flyers around the library. You can pick up a flyer and just enter in that class code, and you will be dropped into this class. And over on the left-hand side here, you can see this is our personal enrichment series. And some current lessons that we have available in our classroom are create a resume in Google Docs, write a cover letter for your first job, and how to start or join a video conference using Google Meet. So if you're starting to look for work or wanting to update your resume or in your cover letter, these might be lessons that you would be interested in. And I'm going to click on More. And write an if-then adventure story. This is what we are going to be working on tonight. So open that up and click on Start. And this will give us a series of videos. And the videos will take you through step by step about how the program works. There's a transcript available, so if you have trouble understanding the presenter, you can just read through the transcript. Once you've finished one video, you click on do the hands-on work that they ask you to do, and then click on Next to go to the next video. So we are going to start this video. Let me do full screen here, and we'll get started.
Hey, I'm Kumar. In this unit, you'll learn how to collaborate to tell an interactive story. In an interactive story, the reader acts as the main character and decides the plot of the story. You use Google Slides to tell your story. Each slide will describe a problem and provide choices for the reader. For example, a slide might read, "You go on a rainforest adventure for vacation." Then the reader could choose to drive, walk, or paddle a canoe. When the reader selects a link, they're directed to the slide that corresponds to that choice. To tell your story, your group will first brainstorm using Google Docs. Move on to the next video to begin brainstorming your story.
Okay, so that's what an if-then story is. And let's move on to the next video.
Throughout this course, you'll take reflections and assessments that look like the one below this video. For most activities, you'll share your projects with your teacher, but your projects alone won't show everything that you're learning. Surveys like this one help you and your teacher better understand what you've learned in this course. They also help our team understand which activities students enjoy and which ones might need to be improved. When you're done with the survey, click the next arrow to move on to the first unit to begin creating with Google Apps.
Okay, so go ahead and complete the survey. And as you said, that helps us, well, it helps you to know where you began in your journey. And at the end, you'll be taking another survey to see how much you might have learned during the course. But it also helps us know if this is the type of programming that you're interested in. So go ahead and complete the survey. And then once you've completed the survey, we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so moving on to the next slide.
In this activity, your group will collaborate to select the setting, characters, and problems for your story. Digital collaboration uses technology to share information, brainstorm ideas, and help groups make decisions. It allows people all over the world to work together in real time. You can collaborate in a document by writing with someone else, adding comments, or suggesting edits. In this activity, you and your group members will brainstorm story elements in a shared document from your own computers. Then you'll add comments to discuss and select which elements you'll include in your story. To start, select one member of your group to create a copy of the starter document and share it with the entire group. This allows everyone in your group to work in the same document. If you are that person, click the starter project linked on this page. Then make a copy. Only one member of your group will make a copy of this document. Rename the document Story Brainstorm. Share it and enter the email address of each group member. Once the document has been shared, open it from your own computer. To open a shared document, go to google.com and select Google Drive. View your shared files and double-click the file to open it. Then, return to Google Drive and move the file to My Drive. Return to the document. At the top, you should see each person in your group. Once everyone in your group has opened the shared file, move on to the next video to begin brainstorming story elements. Now it's your turn. Select one person in your group to open the starter project and make a copy. Name it Story Brainstorm and share it with your group. Once the file is shared, open it at your own computer and add the file to your drive. Once all your group members have opened the document, move on to the next video.
Okay, so this is a great project that you can get your friends and family involved with. And as long as you all have a Gmail account, you can share this document. And as he said, you'll pick a person to share the document. Click on Starter Project here. Make a copy. And share it. And you might notice that here there is a drop-down box that has editor in it. As long as you have editor selected, whoever you're sending this document to has the ability to make any changes in the document. Now, if you were sending something out and you didn't want any changes made, you would have them you would select Viewer so that they would be able to view the document but not make any changes. Or if you wanted them to give you some feedback on like your resume or something, you could have them in as a commenter, and then they could make comments about various things that they might suggest that you fix. So, but we're collaborating on this. So you would select Editor, notify the people that it's coming, and send. Okay, then you'll go to your Google account, and this works best in Chrome. So you sign into your Google account, go to your Google Apps, and find the drive. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of the project.
Every story has three elements: setting, characters, and plot. In this video, each group member will brainstorm different ideas for your story. By the end of this activity, your group should have at least 10 of each possible: settings, characters, and problems. To start brainstorming, first think about the setting for your story. It might be something you know, such as your house, the park, or your school. Or it might be imagined, like the moon, a different planet, or an alternate universe. Be as serious or as wild as you want. Add your ideas to the settings column of your brainstorming documents.
See how it shows that who added the comment
Next,
as well.
brainstorm some characters. Perhaps the reader will have an adventure as a deep sea explorer or an archaeologist. Or maybe they're an athlete or an astronaut. The possibilities are endless. You could even choose non-human characters such as a dog or a toaster. Include the characters the reader will encounter along the way, like a friend, an ogre, or a flock of birds. Add your ideas to the characters column. Finally, think about the problems the main character might encounter in these settings. Perhaps the astronaut finds out there's a meteor hurtling towards the planet. Or maybe the deep sea explorer sees a monster and their oxygen tank is almost empty. Record your own ideas for potential problems in the problems column. Separate each idea using bullet points. You can create a new bulleted list using the toolbar. When you think of an idea, type it in the document. Later, you'll select ideas from each column to use in your story. For now, though, focus on generating lots of ideas. Check out what this might look like. Nia brainstorms the rainforest as a setting. When Antonio sees that, he adds adventure with wild animals under problems. Molly sees adventure and adds tour guide and vacationer to characters. Even though you might build on each other's ideas, you should still contribute some of your own. Be respectful of others and be careful not to delete what others have added. Keep adding ideas until your group has at least 10 for each story element. Then move on to the next video to select the elements your group will use for your story. Now it's your turn. Add your own ideas to the documents. Your group should have at least 10 settings, 10 characters, and 10 problems before moving on.
Okay, so go ahead and collaborate with your group and come up with 10 settings, 10 characters, and 10 plots. Now, if you need some inspiration for your story, I get these emails from Creative Writing Now. And they give you some prompts to inspire your writing. And the latest one that I got from them was 6 story ideas about mysterious situations. So one is a friend shows your character a wedding announcement in the newspaper. The announcement includes a photograph that appears to be your character standing next to a man or woman your character has never met. What is going on? 2. Your character is cleaning a full-length mirror when his or her hand passes through the mirror's surface. Your character is able to step through the mirror and finds herself in a place where everything is both familiar and different. Let's see, another one. This one will probably provide some good if-then options. Your character's husband has left his computer on. Your character goes to turn it off and sees an email account in the name Jeffrey Harlow. Your character's husband name is Ralph Martin. The content of the emails is even more surprising. And this might be interesting. Lately, your character wakes in the morning to find dirt and leaves in his or her bed. The soles of his or her feet are also dirty, and his or her legs are sore as if she or he has walked a great distance. Now, you don't have to use those, but they might provide you with some inspiration. And then we can move on to the next video. We're brainstorming the story elements.
In this video, your group will select a main character, setting, and problems from your brainstorm list. Then, in the next activity, you'll write a summary of the story you'll create. To start, read the items in your list and add comments about ideas that you'd like to use in your story. To add a comment, highlight the text that you'd like to comment on and click the comment button. Describe specifically what you like about an idea. If someone else in your group has commented on an idea that you like, you can reply to their comment to support it or add additional ideas. Once everyone in your group has read through the list and identified ideas they like using comments, gather your group around one computer to select the setting, characters, and problems for your story. As a group, choose at least one item from each list. There should only be one main character for your story, but they may encounter other characters along the way. Once your group has decided, identify the elements in your brainstorming document. Do this by making the choices bold. commenting on them, changing the font, or changing the color. Next, collaborate to write a summary of the story you plan to write. Describe the who, what, when, where, and how of your story. Think of this description like the blurb on the back of a book. Move on once your group has selected your story elements and written a summary. In the next activity, you'll turn these into an interactive story. Now it's your turn. Read through your group's brainstorm document and add comments on ideas you like most. Gather with your group around one computer and choose story elements. Indicate your group's choices on the documents and write a brief summary.
So we might not be able to all gather around one computer right now, but you can use virtual meeting rooms like Google Meets and collaborate with your teammates that way. So you can discuss what characters you want to use, what the scene is going to be, the problems that your characters are going to find. So arrange to get together with your teammates and work on putting together your story. Okay, and we're going to move on to the next slide. I'm going to start wrapping up this lesson.
In this activity, you collaborated with your group to brainstorm story elements. In every career, it's important to be able to work effectively as part of a team, whether it's through team meetings, email, or providing feedback to documents. Just about every job requires some form of collaboration. In the next activity, you'll continue to collaborate with your group to turn the narrative elements you selected in this activity into an interactive story. Click the next arrow to move on.
So continue working with your group, and next time we get together, we'll continue working on creating our if-then adventure story. In the meantime, you can take the final survey for this lesson. Indicate what you thought about this activity, what you found interesting about it, what was hard about it. And that's going to wrap up the class for today. As I said, continue working on your stories. Come up with your characters, your scenes, your adventures, and start putting together an idea of what this story is going to look like. And next Tuesday, we'll meet again, and we'll start putting together these stories, and we'll start learning how to create the links between the if and then. So good night.